I was amusing myself during the intro. I was having some computer issues, probably self-imposed, but got a weird error that said bad pool caller, and I don't know why, but my brain suddenly went PC load letter, which I guess if you've never seen Office Space, that wouldn't make any sense, but I have, and it did, and it made me lol. So
What's lull? Like
lol,
it sent you to sleep?
yes, much like your jokes.
So, anyways,
So there I was. So I came out blasting. It's been a weird week. It's been a weird week.
a
Took the
weird
week
few
off.
weeks.
It's been a weird few weeks. Yeah, that's probably true. Actually, the last couple years has been a little bit fucking weird for me. So I did something yesterday. I had a doctor's appointment. I went to a. I'm making air quotes right now. I went to a men's
I see it.
health. Huh? You see him?
I see
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Good. 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 Went to a men's health clinic in the town I live in. They do uh, hormone therapy, testosterone replacement, shit like that. So I went down and did the blood work for that, which is something that I was always kind of hesitant to do or even go get checked because it's, and the guy even told me it's a really cool clinic. I liked everybody there and they were very straightforward. And the one thing the guy said is, man, look, if you do this and you do it for, a minute, eventually your body will stop producing testosterone uh, on its own, assuming that I need testosterone replacement. And I was like, yeah, I know. So it's kind of one of the reasons that I've kind of stayed away from it, But I appreciated that they were straight about that, and they basically I gave them my levels from about a year and a half ago, and the guy's like, that's not really bad, but he said there are there are other things in your blood. One of them was like what was it? Sex SB. I don't fucking remember, but it actually,
LMNOP, sometimes
yeah,
Y.
exactly. And sometimes why it's the sometimes why that gets you. Um, the other thing that I discovered while I was researching, because the guy gave me some info, and I'll go back Monday and they'll talk about the blood work. Um, but I was researching because, and I told the guy, I said, one of the reasons I never came in is because all of these TRT, excuse me, all of these TRT ads, they're always about one thing and one thing only, right? Can you not get a boner anymore? Are your boners soft and pointless? And I was like, well, I'm 48 years old and I have never in my life, I got into a fight with a guy once because he didn't believe me. I have never in my life not been able to get a boner when I wanted one, right? And, like most.
Antidepressants have entered chat.
So, what's funny is that on all of the depression meds that I've been on, none of them have done that to me. But you know what they did do?
Made you not come and keep the boner for 5 or 6 hours. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Which you're thinking sounds great until you and your partner are both dry and raw and you still want to
And there's
come.
smoke. And there's smoke.
Yes. It's like taking
There's
two
not
sticks and
enough.
rubbing them together.
It's
Yeah,
like a
man.
in the
porcupine in
world.
the asshole, man. It's like,
Yeah.
the fuck.
That'll tickle your prostate.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the worst because your brain chemistry is like there and it wants to, but it can't. And I have had some women tell me like, dude, stop, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, it's not your fault. This has nothing to do with you. But yeah, so that's always been what the goddamn antidepressants have done to me is just whatever that switch is, can't fucking flip. So
Welcome to my world.
that's just you.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder
So
if you have a brain chemistry issue. Well, I mean, when you have a brain chemistry issue, but
I just get caught up in what I'm doing. But the ladies really don't appreciate it. Like after you're done, if you get like a handful of pine straw and you like throw it on their pussy and like,
I mean, hell, we did all this work. We might as well have some s'mores. So.
Setting a romantic vibe.
Yeah, right. Everybody loves a
Some
campfire.
soft campfire light.
There's a new term as I was looking up hormones and stuff, because again, as a guy, I mean, I know what testosterone is, I know what estrogen is. I've heard of some of the replacements. Anavar is big in the female bodybuilding world, because Anavar doesn't actually, it's not testosterone. It frees up a lot of testosterone in the body. It like stops something from binding to it. And so I was like going down the rabbit hole, as I do, and I think everyone should before they fuck around with their hormones, right?
What'd you order on Danazon?
Nothing. I took Danazon off my phone. So,
Yeah.
But there's a term now. What is it? Assigned male at birth. So they're AMAB and AFAB. Sorry, it's started thinking about fucking around and find out. AFAB. So that's a new term in the medical literature now.
Better than AFib.
Or DFib.
Or ACAB.
ACAB. I know that popped in my head too when I was reading it. Assigned cat at birth, I guess. Could do that. But I just thought that was interesting.
How about a PETA? A porcupine in the asshole.
Porcupine in the asshole. Mm-hmm. I think we all know that's what PETA really means. Porcupine in the asshole.
That'll butter your falafel.
Excuse me?
Huh?
So yeah, so here soon I may grow boobs or something. I have no idea. Said I don't know if I'm going to do anything or not, because it's pricey too. It's expensive as fuck. But
well, if you grow boobs, can I play with them?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay,
so,
that's all I'm worried about.
Back when I was dealing with my hypothyroidism, it fucked all my other hormones up, and testosterone was one of them.
I didn't know you had hypothyroidism. Interesting.
It was back when I weighed about 300 pounds. And
yeah.
It turns out it kind of gets better if you lose about 70.
Yeah.
But yeah, had the bi-weekly testosterone injections.
Mm-hmm.
And it pretty much didn't touch anything. Like, it didn't bring up my serum level at all. It made me have some energy for 2 or 3 days. And yeah, that was it.
Interesting. What's your blood work look like now? Or have
Much better. It's about average, normal for my age group.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what my thought was, is go a couple months. I mean, your body's not going to downregulate hormone production in a couple of months. That takes time. I figure I'll go a couple of months, and it's the fatigue that I'm trying to battle right now. I mean, you guys know I've complained about it. I come home and I feel like somebody hit me with a fucking Valium dart in the back of the head,
That's kind of what started this and the whole mental health journey.
Sure.
Because fatigued and depressed.
Sure.
And once got my hormone levels back under control, it's like, still have no energy and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
On to the next doctor. Yay.
Well, and that's kind of what I told the guy, right? I mean, all 4 of us have been troubleshooting for, 5, 10, 15 years, not the human body, but fuck, it's kind of the same when it comes to troubleshooting, right? You get some data. And that's kind of what I'm going to do. I did the mental health thing. I feel like I'm in a good place there. I mean, I have my days. The stellate ganglion block was a fucking game changer. Even when I get stressed now or angry, it's just different. I can't explain it.
Yeah, you actually go to concerts with me now.
Right. It feels right. I mean, I was able, I went to a comedy show with Doug shortly after it, and was kind of blown away myself by my own ability to hang out, stand in line, go sit down, and Doug had made some, he had gotten seats to where I could be on an aisle row, because he knows that I have trouble with crowds. And I didn't even need it. I mean, I appreciated it, because I still, no one wants to sit in the middle of that, right? Because they crammed in about 800 more fucking chairs than they should have. But it was just interesting for me to be able to do that, to go to the concerts with Robbie. Like I used to have a hell of a time doing that. But I mean, I still get stressed. I still get anxious, but it's just different. It's not overwhelming. So I feel like I got the mental health thing I think I got it dialed in pretty well. So we're going to try this. And if that doesn't work, I think my next step is probably a cardiologist, to make sure. I think we've talked about the heart murmurs lately. So my dog has a heart murmur, and they're like, American bullies are known for having them, but all the vets are like, go see a cardiologist. I'm like, bitch, I have a heart murmur and I've never even been to a cardiologist.
Well, just use your Apple Watch to monitor your.
I do, and it seems to think I'm fine. So Tim Cook says I'm fine. So
for now, I think they're disabling that feature soon.
And Adam said, just run on a treadmill, and if I breathe heavy, I'm fat, and I owe him $10,000 for diagnostics. So.
Yeah, dude. God, yeah, that was fun.
I'll tell you the same thing for half price.
Oh, hey, all right. And do I hear a quarter?
I won't even make you run on a treadmill. You're fat.
Just tell me, like, you're fat. Buy me a sandwich.
I won't make you go on a treadmill. I'll just drag you on some bikes. I know.
Jesus, dude. And that's the funny thing is that I can go up a flight of stairs and feel like I'm going to die, but then I can go hike or go do a 5-mile walk with the dog, and I feel fine. So it's, but I have read some stuff about.
I think I've said it before that 5 minutes on a treadmill or elliptical is torture, but I can spend 5 hours hiking and it's nothing.
Yeah, yeah. And I've read that believe it or not, that can actually be a heart issue as well. It's something about going from zero to like doing something in your heart's inability to like keep up or something. I don't know. I mean, one of the things that the internet has that I just thought of Doug and smelling toast. The one thing that the internet has definitely done is it's probably created more hypochondriacs than it's solved or whatever, right?
No, just do your own research, man.
Do your own research, right? There's
I know exactly what the problem is. Let me whip out this scalpel and do some self-surgery.
It's right, exactly. It's just this pesky tumor in my brain.
Yeah, so, a little nip here, a little tuck there. Good to go.
Right. I do think though, and it's just like with the whole endocrine, the testosterone thing, I do think it's important. Like I watched a couple of YouTube videos of a couple of doctors that's what they do for a living. They have like TRT clinics and they talk about it, and it was pretty cool. I think it's important to be able to read up enough to ask questions. I know that when Adam was in the thick of all the issues he was having there, he was doing his research, not to like say, hey, this is what it is or this is what it isn't, but it does help to just be able to ask questions, and say, okay, well, I read about this thing and it, blocks testosterone absorption, but because if not, we've all had doctors that turned out to be bullshit, right? Like show of hands. how many people here have had a doctor? Oz? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The secret they don't want you to know about these coffee beans. Yeah. I mean, there's so much out there. We've all, all of us have probably been pumped full of fucking antibiotics.
The part is how confident they are in fucking wrong answers.
Yeah.
It's like, you'll go to one doctor and one doctor will say, oh God, it's definitely this thing. Mm-hmm. You should go see this specialist. And the first thing out of that specialist's mouth is, that quack doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I wonder what specialist Bo Jackson went to when he had his year-long bout of hiccups. Because supposedly he went to, he was suggested to go smell the ass of a porcupine.
The ass
of
a porcupine?
Like the homeopathic remedy thing. Yeah, I was reading about that too.
I'm surprised it wasn't a beaver.
I'm sure that man smelled plenty of beaver in his day.
Well, why not both?
Well, it's weird because like beavers got a gland in their ass or something that
vanilla.
nuts, raspberries or some
it
weird
was
shit
vanilla.
like that.
The old ass gland.
The old ass gland. I
I think I'm the one with the most experience in this call, so I'll let you guys know that it does smell like raspberries.
Smells like raspberries.
Yeah, I've been spelunking a few times.
But, castoreum is what you're thinking of. And I want to say at one time, imitation vanilla was made with castor or a byproduct of castoreum, which does come from a beaver's butt gland. Oh wait, hold on.
Don't look up what a red dye is made from.
Oh no, you know what? Doug is also right. But it is true that artificial raspberry flavoring comes from castoreum, which is expressed from the anal glands of beavers. So yeah, vanilla and raspberry. That's a tasty asshole right there.
Well, maybe you just get your own home beaver.
Yeah.
And then, when you want to do like the Emerald Lagasse Bam thing, you just hold your beaver up, squeeze its ass.
Just hold your beaver up.
Hold your beaver up.
Hold your beaver up.
You just hold your beaver.
That's right.
Just
Squeeze
spread it
its
like an
ass.
eagle.
That's right.
Yeah.
You squeeze your beaver's ass.
Squeeze your beaver, and then you get vanilla and raspberry.
Apparently so. Where is this
Mark?
lady?
Like I said, I mean that's a tasty ass, man. You can get vanilla and raspberry. Vanilla is kind of one of my favorites. So I mean, and I've.
Well, do you think beavers just sit around eating each other's ass all day long?
I mean, I'd eat ass if it tasted like vanilla and raspberries. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that is not the berry that usually comes to mind when I get near an asshole.
Yeah.
So definitely gone through some dingleberry fields in my day. Like, come on, man. If you know you're going to get laid, if you're even going out on a date and you don't expect to get laid, like, clean up, because shit happens sometimes.
Just practice basic hygiene and leave it at that. Even if you're not going on a date, even if you know you're not going to get fucked later,
just clean the dingleberries.
Wash your ass.
Why don't we bathe every day?
It's not fucking difficult. Just wash your goddamn ass. It's not gay if you touch your butthole. Especially with soap.
I think it's only gay if you touch someone else's butthole with soap.
I think the best way is to shove the bar of soap up your ass and
Boof
then push
and
it
soap.
back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're bending over to grab the soap.
That's what they mean by washing your sins away. At least for the Catholics, I think. I don't know.
Putting an entire bar of soap up your asshole? Jesus Christ.
You could probably do it.
Sideways or lengthwise?
I'd say lengthwise, like long
I get
ways.
uncomfortable when I've eaten a lot of fiber.
Well, I mean, it's self-lubricating, so.
Well, the question is,
true.
Have either of you ever, when you were a young child, played with one of those Play-Doh machines where you put the different things in front of it? I just wonder, like, if you shoved
do that with your
a bar of soap in your ass, if you would be shitting chocolate bars after that.
If you could push out like stars,
like little chocolate bricks,
green diamonds, blue diamonds, green horseshoes.
If you got one of those little mold things for like a pastry bag they use the icing in.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Speaking of which, isn't it like
corner the market
wombats?
On this idea.
Isn't it wombats that have square turds?
Yeah, I think it's wombats. Yeah. Let's look.
So you would have a wombat asshole.
No, it's just shitting bricks.
Yep, it is the wombat. I love how Doug is just a.
I'm an expert on shit.
Yeah, Doug's got info on just all kinds of.
He knows shit, man. He knows shit.
He does. Yeah. How do wombats poop cubes?
Very carefully.
I mean, you would think. Oh, there's so much in the world we don't understand.
Some of us understand more than others.
Well, that's the God's honest
Every time
truth.
I go to Walmart, it's a good refresher on that life lesson.
I won't go to Walmart. I refuse. I just can't.
Well,
It
that's
is
all there
very
was
rare.
back home, so that's what I
No, I
knew
get
of
it.
when I was back home.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. And I think like Doug goes there for insulin, don't you, Doug?
No, I go to Sam's for insulin now because
Ah,
Walmart and Sam's effectively have the same pharmacy with the same policy and the same
sure.
prices.
Gotcha. So it's one stop shop.
Weirdly enough, though, one thing that Sam's has that Walmart doesn't have is Sam's actually has Members Mark brand insulin needles.
Oh
So
wow.
they're fucking cheaper than the El Cheapo needles that you can buy at fucking Walmart when they actually have them.
I
And
Yeah, you
gotcha.
just
just
for
got to buy
anybody,
5,000 at a time, right?
yeah, well, yeah,
Well,
I mean, it's pretty much you buy a box at a time, but a whole goddamn box that I think has 100 needles in it. I think it's like $13 if I remember right.
I know a
yeah.
way
So
you can save even more.
Yeah, go behind any Safeway
What are your
in
thoughts on
Denver.
Capri Sun?
well, I'm not trying to give my dog any weird diseases from some dirty hobo. That's all I'm saying. And if anybody
Just
doesn't
just
know,
go
my
buy some
dog is
Capri Sun and use
diabetic.
the
I'm not.
straw.
Use the straw.
Jesus. No.
It's a nice
We'd,
thin needle.
we'd
Oh yeah.
find we'd find Doug dead in shadow in the corner chewing on a bone. Try it again, asshole. That's interesting. I was looking up. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Cost Plus Drug Company. It's the one that Mark Cuban started back some time ago, and they don't even have insulin on here. That's kind of curious.
You know what I
So,
was reading is that he's not even from Cuba. Like, what a
uh,
fraudster!
well, I mean, it's hard to
What a
trust him, isn't it?
sham!
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe anything that he's doing.
Uh huh. You could get
Well, I
some.
mean, there's been a lot of stuff going on around insulin, and basically at Walmart nationwide and Sam's nationwide, you can buy insulin for cost. And I think there's some other people that are doing some discounts now.
Mhm.
But if I understand it right, they got a little closer into it and cut out all the middleman bullshit that they could. I'm not sure if they're making it on their own or they're sort of
Who
like
Cost Plus or
sourcing
Walmart?
through, some contractor or what, but it's like all the insulin there is branded Novolin. But
Hmm.
I think they're heavily involved with that, which is how they're doing it at such a steep discount.
Well, and
Because those
that's
bottles of insulin, a full vial is $24.88.
and I'm all about drug companies making a profit. Like I get it. You got to make a profit to survive, right? I get that, but I think
There there is
there's a
such a
limit
thing as
there, man.
yeah, it's called profiteering.
Yeah, like it's there's something about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's you got a lot of Martin Shkreli's out there,
Right.
and they're just seeing how far they can push it and get away with it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when they came out with the drug that was supposed to cure hepatitis C, which eventually leads to a liver transplant. What they did is they looked at the full uncovered cost of a liver transplant, cut that into half, and
Wow.
decided that's what a course of that drug should cost you.
Jesus Christ. And that and I know from I'll call it insider experience because I've known people that work for pharmaceutical or with pharmaceutical companies, and I know that for every drug that goes to market, there's like 100 that don't, that just fizzle out for whatever reason, and that they've got to be able to pay for that too. But you got to look at their profits, right? And when I see a pharma company with profits of billions and billions and billions of dollars, I'm like, listen, you covered your losses, y'all. You've covered your losses in spades. So I don't feel bad for you. I'm a fan of capitalism. I think capitalism is why people do things. Good old fashioned greed. But yeah, profiteering is fucking ridiculous.
But when you're publicly traded, man, the only thing you can worry about is how much profit you make.
Yep. That's So if you go back, that actually started. It was Henry Ford and something about the Dodge brothers, like from the Dodge trucks. Um, and I don't remember the full story of how they were intertwined, but at one point, the Dodge brothers sued Henry Ford, and the courts agreed with the Dodge brothers, and it's basically set in motion now the fact that excuse me, right, when you have shareholders, that your responsibility is to making them money at all cost. That is your responsibility legally. That is your responsibility.
Yeah.
I think Ford like did something for the workers. He like put some money back in the workers or something, and Dodge came in and said no, fuck that. And yeah, they sued him and won. So I don't. It's a fun thing you can go look up, right? But so when people, there's been a lot of tech layoffs, right? Microsoft just dropped uh, Activision or Blizzard. They just dropped a bunch of jobs, and you've seen Google and Facebook and all these people. And you read some of the comments that people leave about, oh, I can't believe they did this, and it is shitty. I mean, I hate it. It could be me one day, right? I mean, but they're the companies are there to pay the investors, not to take care of the employee, and
Yeah,
that's something
companies
people don't
exist to
realize.
make money.
Right,
I
right.
am
And
shocked.
I'm not excusing some of the shitty behavior that companies make. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is right, to Robbie's point, don't be shocked by it. Like, don't be like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me, or when because it can happen to anybody. It's just the
Yeah,
world we live in nowadays. I fucking hate it, but
it's
it's the world we live in.
well, it's going to come up to a weird crossroads soon, um, because you have companies who have the profit motive, but you also have its relative effect on the economy. Now,
Hmm.
with the emergence of AI, there's going to be a whole hell of a lot of white collar jobs that start disappearing. And not too far behind that, because I've seen various things where they turn around and they integrate a some sort of robot, some kind of glorified Boston Dynamics thing, and what they do is they turn around and tie that into an AI to where somebody walks up to this robot and says, it was literally in the clip, it says, this place is a mess, clean it up. So the robot just, with no prior instructions, no do exactly this, put this exactly here, the AI was fed that series of words, interpreted it, then spit back out the actions that it wanted it to take to the robot, and then the robot cleaned up the fucking place and put everything in the trash in the whole 9 yards. So, what we're going to wind up with is corporations having a profit motive saying we need to eliminate all of these jobs. But the thing that Henry Ford knew, because, even though there's some questionable ethics there in the whole 9 yards, he wanted to do two things. He wanted to have the Model T priced where everybody could afford to buy one, and he wanted to make sure his workers were making enough to where they could afford one, because he saw that as paying his workers well, some of that money coming back to him. So you're going to wind up
Mm.
with this weird sort of balancing act that the economy is going to have to do once AI starts taking those jobs.
Yeah, because if you replace everyone's jobs with AI, scripting, robots, whatever, automation, right? We'll just call it automation. Then exactly who's spending money at that point? I mean, the rich can continue to
UBI.
get richer, but who's gonna spend the money?
Yeah, UBI is going to have to come along at that point, and I think it's inevitable now because like the legislation's already missed the fucking train on the AI thing.
Right. They're talking about it, and you can see the caboose of AI just going down the road. Like, oh,
Yeah, it's like it's the Pandora's box is already open. You can't close it now. I mean, if
absolutely.
Well,
we
they're
if we
they're so old they probably didn't even see the train.
Yeah, that could be too, right?
But if we legislate it in the U.S., China's just going to keep using it and pass us. So we kind of have
Exactly.
to embrace it now.
Exactly. And I have no issues with it. And there's the argument that, the tractor replaced the oxen and the plow, and that replaced people out in the field with tools and etc. And I get that argument to some degree, right? I mean, learn AI, learn scripting, learn automation. I'm working on that as we speak, but not everyone can do that. Um, I know, and Doug's paradise would be where every fast food chain has automatic burger dispensers,
Oh
right?
God, yes.
and that's uh, and that's coming. Where was I
Well,
at?
it's kind
Go
of
ahead.
the only thing that it can fuck up is the delivery system getting it to you. If you
Right.
told the motherfucker no onions, it's not going to have any onions on it. You're, you
Well,
know,
I
and you're going to get it, and it's not one of those things where there's, like one person that showed up that day. Like that was happening
hmm
during the pandemic. I'm
hmm
sure there were multiple people that went to some fast food place during the pandemic, and you were like wanting a thing, the line wrapped around the building, you were
yeah.
like, fuck it, I don't have anything else to do, might as well. And you get in that line, you're in that line for 45 minutes, you get all the way to the window, and you found out that there was one motherfucker in the store
hmm
running the register, the grill, all the bullshit at the same fucking time. And they're just as apologetic as they can be. And then, and I get the frustration. I get that you would want to yell and scream and everything else, but that person was already doing everything they fucking could for you, So I get it.
Well, and there are those people out there that would say, "Oh, well, you got to employ these people. You can't do that because you got to employ these people." No, you don't. It's not. And again, it's not a company's responsibility. That's what's sometimes known as corporate welfare. I'm not gonna employ a team of people to do something when they do it less efficiently uh, for more money. Why would I do that? There was a pizza shop up in, I want to say, New Jersey, and this guy had installed one of the first. There's a company out there making these like pizza robot, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I think they were
And
sort of utilitarian, and he just bought all of the, I think you buy a unit and then you decide the guts that you want to put in it, and
yeah,
like
and well, and
he
you
set up like 5 machines to do and finish a pizza from beginning to end. All he had to
yeah, you
do,
lease them actually, which is kind of
right,
fucking weird. And then you have to buy your ingredients from them because it has to be in a certain it has to be in a certain shape and a
start,
certain size
right,
to get through the hoppers and all that. That would be the only thing that could be a problem, because if the company doesn't maintain high quality ingredients, right? But it was funny, they were taking these pizzas places and asking people to try them. And this is Jersey, right, up near New York, and people are like, "That's a good fucking pizza," you know. But it took one or two people to run this entire store now, right? Because you had somebody taking orders, and then you had a guy that would load the stuff uh, into the pizza. I can't remember if the dough. I can't remember the dough if they had to spin that and like stretch that out. But everything else, it went out on this platter. It would spin, and the sauce would hit exactly. And the thing is, with food, and I've been in the food was in the food industry for a long, long time, and I think anybody who's ever eaten at a restaurant, this is important to them: consistency, right? If you go to a restaurant and you're like, "Oh, I like their garlic mashed potatoes because it tastes like they put some angel titty in it," and then you go and you get the mashed potatoes and they're a little off, you're disappointed. Like, you're terribly disappointed because like you went there and you're like, "Man, I really want some of those garlic mashed
or either
potatoes."
that they taste like they're supposed to, with the addition of something extra that spoils it, like
Right,
somebody
right.
made mashed potatoes, but they didn't finish rinsing out the bowl before
There
they
you go.
did, and now it's got a little soap on the back
There
end
you
of your
go.
garlic mashed
Right.
potatoes.
And the thing is, as a robot, you tell it to do the thing and it does the thing, and it does it very, very consistently. I've always said, just in my work style, I pull for consistency. And I always say, if I want a Coke, I want a Coke. If I go grab a bottle of Coke and it tastes like Mountain Dew, I'm going to be terribly fucking disappointed. And if you keep that in mind with business, that's what everyone looks for, is consistency. If you buy a certain brand of car, it's because there's a consistency there that you like. It's a food, a drink, a type of music you listen to. We like consistency. We like knowing that we're going to get what we went in to get. So if a McDonald's goes fucking auto, right, and there's little conveyor belts, and I know that it's going to drop, right, 3 ounces of fucking mustard, which would be a lot of mustard actually, on every burger, that motherfucking burger is going to taste the same every time I go to that restaurant. Because like Doug said, you're not going to have a guy who had a bad day and didn't wash his hands before he touched the onions, or
or
whatever,
started talking to somebody and left it on for
right.
3 minutes longer than they were supposed to.
Exactly.
Guys, I think what we're forgetting is that white women are going to be disenfranchised because there's going to be nobody to scream at now when there's.
Yeah, you're going to need like a Karen bot.
About.
But who are they going to complain to? Like when it goes full auto, or you go in and you touch a screen and the robot makes it and spits it out onto
They will find a way.
You need an AI. You need an AI that they can walk up to and scream at, right? And it would just be an AI generated person. It would take their input and come out with.
It would say yes,
output.
Yes, you're right. You're
exactly,
right.
Absolutely, man.
No matter what they say,
right?
Yes, Karen, I'm transferring you to the Karen retention department.
The best part would be some of the weird fucked up shit it would say in response. Because if you've ever played with like ChatGPT or any AI, sometimes they're a little off. Sometimes they're a little off. That's all I'll say.
I'm just wondering what's going to happen in a world where executives are trying to pull some doublespeak shit, and to where they're simultaneously trying to walk more than one line, or some other kind of such bullcrap.
I think that's where they get into politics.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, the thing is, if you're doing that to a person, a person will more or less, okay, I'm in this shitty scenario, I'll have to accept that and try to figure out some half-ass way to sort of kind of halfway give them what they want. Meanwhile, if you've got somebody that's doing that stuff with some sort of artificial intelligence, it may tell them, oh, I can't do that. You can go get fucked. It would just be because like
there's a logic tree there, right? Yeah, there's a logic tree, and it's going to get to the end of that logic tree and go, no.
Well, the best example that I've got, there was a story during the pandemic. It was around like 2022 or some shit, where there was a lady at a Starbucks or maybe some sort of fast food restaurant or whatever else, and they were like getting ready to close or whatever else, and she did her best impression of a robotic voice doing a message, like an automated message that they were closed, and this person had been kind of a little crazy up to that point. But it's like when what she thought was an automated message played, then the customer that was in the drive-through pulled off because they weren't going to argue with the machine because they knew where that would get them. And I'm just wondering, in this bullshit double-speak corporate America spin world where words mean nothing anymore, that how that is going to go up against that corporate philosophy. I'm just curious. I'm waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, because again, like you said, we call it AI. They call it artificial intelligence, and I kind of grin at that for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's no such thing as artificial intelligence. Either there's intelligence or there's not. Right? Artificial is. I think that's
I've met a lot of people that pretend to be smart.
Yeah, I've met some artificially intelligent folks.
Yeah, that's fair. So we need to redefine AI as being dumbasses. And I think it's really all just algorithms and logic trees, and everyday life is a logic tree. I mean, we make decisions based on the information we have in front of us. And I think that
Are you familiar with the singularity?
yes, and there
Bring it.
is there there is that potential. Doug, feel free to explain to the folks in Guantanamo Bay what the singularity is.
All right. I'm going to do something really unusual. I'm actually going to give the short version.
3 hours later.
It is defined as the point where artificial intelligence is smarter than humans collectively.
And I think that, and again, you get into what is intelligence, what is smart, right? You could sit and, I guess that's the philosophy, right? You could sit and debate that forever. I already think that I think we are creeping up on that very, very quickly, right?
I say 2033 at the latest.
2033. I'll say at the latest.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying at the latest. I'm betting sometime around 2027, 2028.
Yeah.
It just sort of at the rate that we're going, because it's kind of an exponential curve. Once you start, it goes really slow, and then you use machines to build better machines, to build better machines, to build better machines.
And we're seeing that. For those that don't do any coding, my level of coding is very, very low. Like
Hello world.
Yeah, right. I can do a little bit of coding, but we have a friend collectively who is very good with Python, which is a coding language. And he recently was playing around with one of the AIs and dumped some commands into it, asking it to build him a Python script that would do something for him. 2 milliseconds later, he had the code that he needed, and he said it was very intelligent. It was very well written, very efficient and clean. And he said, "This is scary." And when he
that's the
told
thing.
us that,
and it works the first time.
Right. Right. There's no debugging involved.
To give you an idea of how far it's spread at work, my favorite conference call last year was somebody that forgot to mute, and they were asking ChatGPT, "How do I do XYZ?" You just hear it reading off in the background. Like, hey, mute your phone, buddy. Mute your phone.
There were some ask those Samsung engineers how that worked out for them.
About as well as our employer did, because that's why they blocked it. Somebody was posting proprietary information into a web-based GUI that was public.
That's what Samsung did. They got fired. A lot of people got fired doing that. People don't realize that all that
found out.
Yeah, people don't realize that all that information is for public consumption, or can be pulled down for public consumption. So
right, because what'll wind up happening eventually is, AI. Well, Microsoft's sort of doing it already. I think there's like an add-on for 365 to where you can incorporate AI into it for like a certain fee per month. I think it's like $20 or some shit. But that you can have your own access to an AI that's yours, unlike, Chat GPT. So businesses are going to start doing it with that same suite of stuff, to where when they want to utilize AI for something like that, if they want to build things, write new programs, what have you, they would just have to have their own isolated instance. And that's not far away at all.
No, I would agree with you on that. And of course it'll be fucking cloud based like everything else. You can't find anything anymore that's not rented, leased, cloud based,
Yeah, because everybody
SaaS.
wants to put things in the cloud, and
Well,
then
everybody wants
everybody
that.
wants a subscription.
Yeah, everybody wants that dollar, right? I mean, and my favorite is when you see something and it says, $10 a month, and you're like, okay, well, that's not too bad. And then you get in there and they're like, billed annually. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm not giving you, $120 now, and then 3 months in, 3 months in, deciding that I don't like whatever this is. Adobe's got their thumb so far up my ass now that I can never get out.
I unadobe'd myself. I broke out of the matrix.
No way.
Unadobe'd. Yes, sir.
So, like, what do you use now?
For photos, I use Affinity Photo, and
Okay.
then for videos, I use DaVinci.
Oh, you've been using DaVinci, huh?
Yeah,
Neat. I've heard it's
it's
good.
pretty good.
I've heard it's pretty decent. That it's got some pros and cons versus like Premiere. I'll have to check out Affinity because I wouldn't mind getting out of the Adobe black hole myself.
Affinity's
Just
pretty good. It is a purchase, but it's one time. So
and that's yeah, and I don't mind paying for software. I really don't. I just don't know that I'm getting $60 a month out of
yeah, that's where I was.
Adobe.
I wasn't using it enough to. I mean, I still need it when I need it, but I wasn't using it enough to make it worth it.
Right.
Yeah, it works better for me, but yeah, $60 I'd probably be like, no.
So
Yeah.
you're just doing the photography thing for like $20 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah, and it's got some extra cloud storage added on,
Yeah.
which that makes it worth it for me because by the time I pay for the cloud storage elsewhere, it's not much difference in price.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. And I could probably drop Premiere Pro, which is the video editing software, because I I haven't been doing much video anymore. And to be honest with you, as silly as this sounds, my favorite video editor now is iMovie on my MacBook because it's for dumb people. It's just drag and drop, and it's super fucking easy. And typically, all I'm doing is like trimming a video clip, splitting and putting something in, some effects, things like that. I'm not getting into really big, heavy duty. I never did get into big, heavy duty editing. I mean,
That's kind of how the editor is in Windows 11 now. It's been great for simple things, and it's free, so why not?
I haven't checked that out. Now that you mention that, I never even thought of that. That their movie editor might have, improved a bit. So I think that I like Premiere, and I liked learning and I liked playing with it, but I've got other shit to do with my energy right now, and learning, how to do movie editing is not. And Premiere is, I mean, it truly is a professional piece of software. Like there are plenty of commercial studios and stuff that use Adobe stuff. DaVinci, I think they're Resolve, and they build. I think they make cameras, don't they? Like they make movie
they make
cameras and
red
stuff.
cameras.
Oh,
yeah.
They make red. Oh, okay, cool. For those of you who don't know, red, RED, not the cameras aren't red, but they are a very, very high end movie camera. I think they do a lot of the high speed, like for the slow-mo
Stanley
stuff.
Cup of cameras.
They are the Stanley Cup of cameras.
That's
Yeah,
how your bank account's going to look after you buy one.
red. You're gonna be in the red. Do you guys ever watch? They're just called the slow-mo guys, like on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I haven't
love
watched
that
them in a
channel.
hot minute though. That's
Yeah,
honestly, it's
I'm
probably been a
wrong.
couple
They don't
of years.
make red.
they don't make red. I thought they did
They
too.
make blue.
They make blue.
They make the Black Magic
Black Magic.
cameras.
That's it. Black Magic Designs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the slow-mo guys, if you've never checked them out, they're just that. They're a team out of the UK, a couple of guys, and one of them was in the military, so they tend to do a lot with firearms. And one of my favorite is when they projectiles in general, actually. One of my favorite things that they do is they will shoot into different things, and then you'll get to see in very, very slow motion and very, very high quality, you'll get to see how the bullet reacts to different things. And it's really cool. They've done some jet engine firings, and you get to see the way the gases and the fire chases the gases. It's really neat. I've always been fascinated by slow mo and time lapse. Time lapse has always been like, I remember when I was a kid, I saw a time lapse of like a plant growing, from the seed, and they'd have like a plexiglass side to the pot, and you could see it, the roots grow and everything. And I was fascinated by it from that point.
So you like slow mo and fast mo?
Yeah, I like them. I like all the mows.
Yeah.
Fast, slow, it doesn't matter to me, buddy. Give me a good mow and stand back. So
I've heard that about you.
Well,
yeah.
What's your
I mean-
favorite drink of mojito?
a mojito. I do like a good mojito. Yeah. I like a good mojito. There's nothing wrong with a good mojito. Don't hate on the hito. I don't really drink much anymore, though. Pretty much at all.
Not any less.
Little
I don't
bit.
drink
so,
anymore. I don't drink
any less. Yeah. I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too. Yeah, Colorado, age, all of that stuff has kind of made it to where I just don't enjoy drinking anymore. So
I don't either.
yeah, it's just not, doesn't do anything for me. I'll have a drink with dinner from time to time, like if I'm out with people, or if go to a concert, I'll have a double on some ice just to mellow out, whatever. But yeah, my days of drinking, I've got friends that are constantly wanting me to let's go drink, let's go do a bar crawl, let's go do all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't drink. I don't think people understand when I say
It's
Have you
that.
not
told
so-
them that?
It's not so much the drinking. It's the older you get, the longer your recovery time is.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
So when you're like 22, you can go out to the bar, get trashed, get home at 4:30 in the morning, get 2 hours of sleep, wake up and go to work. Meanwhile, at knocking on the back door of 50,
50. Yeah.
you get inebriated and you spend the next 4 to 5 days feeling like shit.
That's after 2 drinks. And that's kind of where it is. I really don't like being drunk anymore, though, either. Like, you kind of feel out of control, or I feel out of control when I'm drunk, right? Because you are out of control, right? And somewhere within that inebriated state, I start thinking to myself, this is going to hurt tomorrow.
Well, I mean, it's
That's concerts for me now.
yeah.
yeah.
You say YOLO and go in. And that's, the 3 concerts that Robbie and I went to. I got the same thing both times. I'd get a double on ice, double whiskey, bourbon on ice. And then I would just sip on that throughout the entire show, all 2-3 bands, So I was mellow, and even then, the next day I was like, ugh, like not hungover in the sense of, oh God, I want to die, but just, out of phase with the rest of the world. Just didn't, head hurt, dry,
Well, it's
don't
kinda,
feel good.
when you're drinking, it's sort of like your liver kind of has to, okay, let me stop what I was doing before this, and now let me process that alcohol. So it goes through, it processes the alcohol, and that's for the people that can even process alcohol, because there are some people that can't. And then it has to turn around and switch back to that function after it's taken a beating with alcohol.
I feel like your liver's in there like, oh no, please let me stop filtering your blood for all of the other things that I'm supposed to be doing, by creation, and let me deal with this poison you're guzzling down. No, it's fine. It's
Well, I
fine.
mean,
Yeah, if you had a passive aggressive liver.
Yeah, well, I mean, your liver is effectively your body's chemistry set.
No,
because
you got
it's
just detox each week or something.
it's doing a whole lot of things in the background, and I can tell you from experience, when you piss it off, it's not happy about it, and neither are you.
Didn't you
That's
deal
like a
with
fucking porcupine in the asshole.
It's
It's
like a
not happy about it,
porcupine in the
neither are
asshole.
you.
Well,
Yeah, it's not just like a porcupine in the asshole. It's like a porcupine doing the moonwalk in your asshole.
Well, is it so? Is it going further in, or is it coming out?
Oh,
Like,
it's
which
going
way did it
further
go?
in. It's just backing up. It's just beep, beep, beep.
Oh, but
all
it's
the-
all it's sharp side first though, because it's
Yes,
moonwalking.
exactly.
Oh man, I got you. Wow.
yeah, that's where we took it.
Yeah,
That's where
and
Well,
we
we're
took
coming up on an hour. I want to leave everyone with this
it.
final piece of wisdom, which is if everyone only requires you to give the last four of your social for anything, then how is it actually any safer? So just be paranoid.
Do what?
Huh?
That
that's
didn't
just
even
what
make
I was
sense.
thinking.
Do what now?
Yeah, exactly. So the
There's
point of
9
giving only the
digits.
last four of your
Yeah.
social
Mm-hmm.
is that it's safer. But if that's all that's ever required to
Mhm.
do anything,
But it's
then
not.
how is it actually safer?
Because there's what, five more digits that they have to have. All they have are the last 4, right? But there's 5 other digits.
Yeah,
You
but
wanna
every
be
time they ask
safe.
you, they ask
It's
you to
safe.
confirm the last 4. So
You
if
want to be
someone were to
safe.
steal it, that's all they would need.
Just
Okay, I see where you're going with that. That is a weak argument, but I see where you're going with it.
It's
I'm
not a
just
weak
saying.
argument at all. It's just like all these companies that sell your data that, oh, this is the street that he grew up on and the
Mhm.
name of his first pet and blah, 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 blah.
Shit. That's why I use Delete Me. I'm going to tell them they need to sponsor us, but then I just realized that I forgot to pay that bill. So that's why I use Delete Me as part of it, right? Because of what you just said.
That's why you used to use Delete Me.
That's why I used to use Delete Me until I forgot to pay for it this month. It was supposed to renew, and I don't like
And now
auto
they've
renew.
deleted him.
And now they've deleted me. Yeah. So
Yeah, they sent a hitman to Dan's house to delete him from real life.
any subscriptions I put on a credit card versus a bank card, because I don't know about you guys, but I have gotten hit with some, $189. What the fuck is that? And I go digging and I'm like, oh, that thing I signed up for last year and completely fucking forgot about. Yeah, that. So at least if it hits me, it hits my credit card and doesn't make paying bills suddenly difficult.
Yeah, let them take Amex's money. Don't let them take your fucking money.
Exactly, man. That is exactly right.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Well, gentlemen, what do you think?
I usually don't.
nothing because my meds are wearing off.
That's best answer yet.